once again to the daily readings in my little Dragon's Lair, my little studio. We're going to continue reading from the Dragon Within Saga and Convergence and continue in Chapter 2. So here we go. He was perhaps 5 or 6, but it was just an estimation. He was orphaned well before his memory was solidified, and as such could only attach his age to what others had estimated. He was always small and sickly, but he made up for it with his intelligence. However, because his guardian understood mainly the physical nature of things, his age was based on size alone, without any influence of his intellect. Be that as it may, the advanced nature of his mind could not be fully ignored. The combination of being small physically and advanced mentally had created a great problem for his orphan surrogates, and subsequently him. While all other children of his ages could be roughly estimated within a reasonable time frame allowing an appropriate approximation of their ages, his was altogether a different story. They just could not come to an agreement, resulting in a growing dilemma. When there was so much uncertainty surrounding orphans, let alone life in Avendia in general, a family coming to adopt and rescue a poor or unfortunate child instinctively sought to grasp onto anything that was of a cemented construct. And aside from gender, age was the only tangible cornerstone for the adopting family's psyche to firmly grasp as the foundational block to begin the reconstruction of a lost life. As such, he was always passed over because he presented an equation with no beginning theorems with which to solve. In the eyes of everyone, he was unsolvable. Over the course of perhaps a year, perhaps several months, it is difficult to express a concrete time frame from memories when he had not formed a construct of time beyond a lengthy period. He had become aware of a man who had taken up refuge in the back alley behind the orphanage. The man was not always present, but when he was, he resembled all things hygienic. The condition of the most poorly attended horse's stables in the entire realm. Yet, the look behind his eyes suggested a calm certainty that stood out the way a lantern stands out against the midnight cover of black. While his clothing and all other colors blended into a seamless gradient of mud greens and mud browns with the occasional blotch of black, his eyes lit up his dirt-covered face the way a rainbow lights up against the dark storm clouds. On a particular evening, while the orphan children were coming inside for dinner, he went up to the man, propagated by several factors, not the least of which was a connection felt from the similar status of their lives, and even more so out of a curiosity to see the man's eyes more closely, and asked, "Where's your Draheen and Drasheen?" The man stood entirely motionless except for the dancing lights behind his eyes. After a short moment of stillness, the man reached into his dirt-covered shirt and produced a brilliantly perfect red apple. A toothless but stunningly grit-formed smile broke the silence as the man handed it to him. Apprehensive to receive it, because rooted deep within him was the understanding that everything given was done so on the platform that a price was to be paid, he instinctively, though not from any conscious intentional desire, shrank away from the man's outstretched gift. When the old and disheveled man did not withdraw his offer, with tentative fingertips he reached for the perfect redness the way an animal might reach for a treat from the first human it experiences, not knowing if trust is forthcoming. The man, now motionless again except for his long, gray and greasy hair slightly blowing in the wind, broadened his smile and relaxed ever so slightly. For trust can go both ways, and undoubtedly, this man has lived a life filled with an equal portion of ridicule heaped upon his plate. Shifting his eyes from the apple to the man's face, at the very moment his smile broadened, he grinned slightly as the bonds of trust were beginning their formation. Now, with more confidence, his eyes shifted fully to the deliciousness that was about to be his. The man slightly extended his grasping hand, and then contact. The instant of touch between the apple and the boy's tentative fingertips revealed a need that was long denied, even in his young age: conditionless giving. There are moments in life when time seems to stop and emboss upon our souls an eternally clear image. As if uncontrolled by anything we can consciously do, these moments descend upon us from a seated throne of divination, meaning to affect our lives and either change their direction or affirm it. Such was this moment. As the apple was held suspended by both sets of fingers, so too was their sense of time. They both, in this moment of unconditional trust, giving and receiving, became aware that there was indeed a like soul to their own. Likeness begets hope and trust, and there was true likeness between them. They both experienced a renewed understanding of hope and beginning to faith, established by their foundation of an immortal yet entirely human connection. So tenuous and precious was this moment that neither was he fully at peace with completing the intent of his grasp, nor was the old man fully at peace with letting go. Not because either's focus was upon that which would, in the following minutes, be devoured by the depths of hunger in their bellies. Rather, they were focused on sating the hunger in their souls. As their hands hung for what seemed as an infinite period of peace, bursting forth from behind them, they heard a sound loud enough to dominate thunder. Instinctively, they were both jolted away from their peaceful Eden, leaving the boy's fingers as the only set still contacting the apple, now forcefully being gripped from the knee-jerk reaction of fear. They both looked to see what had caused the loud crashing noise, and out from the freshly slammed open door of the orphanage charged a huge and wild figure running directly at them. It was the owner. It was the beast. We're going to pause and continue this next time. Thanks again for tuning in to the daily readings from the Dragon Within Saga, Book 1 Convergence. Love all you. Thanks again, and always remember to always release your dragon within. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.